Jason Levesque.
Thank you. I want to take a moment and thank my fellow veterans. This means a lot to me today. It means a lot to be surrounded by my brothers and sisters and the varying faces of veterans that are in this state. See, a lot of us forget that veterans, well, they're not just veterans. They're also citizens of this country. They're citizens of Maine's 2nd District. And what veterans need today, and what their families so desperately need, are jobs. You see, I understand what it's like to be a veteran. I understand what it's like to serve on active duty. I did so. And when I came home, I remember 3 days after I left the Army, I went to see my veterans liaison at the unemployment office in Lewiston, Maine, and I had my one good civilian suit on and my resume in hand, and I was ready to work. I was ready to come back to the town that I grew up in. Well, that person told me, son, you should have stayed in because there's nothing here for you. That was in 1996. 14 years later, I'm hearing from my fellow veterans that same thing is being said to them. They're coming home from conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan and doing a job that's terribly important for this country. And when they get home, there's nothing there for them or their families. We have to look at the issues that face all veterans and all Mainers. And we also have to look at what they have done and what they've learned to get to this point and why they're so productive and important to our society going forward. You see, when I was a drill sergeant, we taught a lot of things. Obviously, rifle marksmanship, how to throw a hand grenade, how to dress correctly, and work together as a team. But everything that we did was all grounded in a foundation of leadership. As Nikki so well put, leadership isn't just a word. It's a code by which we live. Loyalty, duty, responsibility, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. Leadership. That's what these veterans have to offer this state. But what we need to do in Congress and in Augusta is make sure they have the opportunities to add to this country and to give their benefits and what they have learned and their experiences to make our state better here and not just abroad. You see, jobs is really what's driving these veterans to come out today and support us for themselves and their families. And when Congressman Mike Mishu votes to pass health care legislation that the commander of the VFW, quite frankly, said is a betrayal to all American families or veterans, we have to pause. When he votes to increase our debt ceiling by $2 trillion, putting our veterans, their families, their children and grandchildren further into debt, we have to take pause. When he votes for cap and trade, which is going to kill the economy and jobs here, we have to take pause. And when Congressman Mike Mishu only focuses on one group of veterans and not veterans as a whole in this 2nd District, we have to take pause. So I'm here today to put everybody in Maine on notice, as well as Congressman Mishu and other members of Congress from around the country, that when I get to Washington, I will be that drill sergeant on the floor of the House. I will fight for veterans. And I will make sure everybody, regardless of party affiliation, knows that what our veterans need right now are jobs at home. Families that they can take care of. Children that they can believe will have opportunities here in Maine and not elsewhere. Because that's what they fought for, after all. They fought for this country. They've been doing so for 235 years. And I'm sure they'll be defending it for 235 more. So with that said, I'd like to open up to some questions. Also, I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. It means a lot to me. It means a lot that I've got the support of the people I've served with, and future generations out there know that you're standing tall behind them as well. And one thing we need to know is that our young men and women, when they're fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq, or wherever they may be around the world, know that just because Congressman Mishu voted not just once but twice to defund their budget and denied them the necessary equipment needed to execute the mission that we gave to them, that will not be tolerated anymore. So it's not about party rhetoric. It's not about party rhetoric, it's about action. So that said, please, I'd like to answer any questions that you may have.